and her neighbor, the defendant, don't get along, to say the least, and things got out of hand. She even tried to get an order of protection against the lady because she's a loose cannon and couldn't go off at any time. Bottom line, the woman harassed her and her dog mercilessly. She's been harmed psychologically and is suing for $4,975 for harassment. This is the defendant, Melanie Carducci. She says the plaintiff's nothing but trouble, and living next to her was like a nightmare that never ended. The woman would start confrontation after confrontation with her, and she felt like she was living in a jail because the plaintiff would videotape her through her windows. The plaintiff's a nuisance and is continuing to be a nuisance with this lawsuit because it has no merit. She's accused of being a nasty neighbor.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
You are suing Melanie Carducci for $4,975 exactly in harassment. Okay.
Correct.
What is your relationship to each other?
I moved in on the same property where she was previously living. It's about an acre property, and she lives a house down the hill, and I'm up the hill, basically a driveway separating us and the hill.
Okay. So, and are you two the only ones at the time who lived on the property?
It's just me and the dog, and she has 2 children.
Okay. And how old are the kids?
6 and 8.
Okay. So what happened? Let me hear from you first.
Well, basically, I moved in on June 24th, and on the night of July 7th...
Why is your dog here?
He's a service dog. He's a therapy dog, and he was attacked, as I was, by her 2 pit bulls on the night of July 7th. He is a licensed, registered therapy dog. I have PTSD issues, so he protects me first and foremost, but then we also go into nursing homes and hospitals and so forth as a therapy dog for other people.
Okay. All right. So go on.
So on the night of July 7th, we came home about 9 o'clock. Her 2 pit bulls came out of her house up the hill, attacked him, and attacked me. And it was a horrendous, vicious attack by these 2 dogs. One of them was put down. The other one remains alive today and viciously comes out, even though she's under a restraining order for that dog to be muzzled or leashed at all times. She does not do so.
Okay, slow down. That happened in July.
Mm-hmm.
Your dog survived the injuries.
Thank God, yes.
And the pit bull, were there 2 pit bulls or 1 pit bull?
There was 1 pit bull involved that actually, I was doing my homework and I had the window open because it was July, and she went right through the screen. It was it was horrible. And I agree, and, you know, but that's being dealt with in civil court, so I'm not sure.
She's suing you in civil court for that?
For $15,000.
$15,000?
Yeah.
Okay. With a lawyer or without a lawyer?
She has a lawyer for that.
Okay. So you have a separate lawsuit with a lawyer for...
That's for the injury, Your Honor.
For what injury? The injury you just told me about?
For the injuries to the dog and to me. My hand was injured. I've had 2 surgeries on it since the attack. So that's a separate issue.
Just out of curiosity, though, you've had 2 surgeries on your hand due to the attack?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And whose decision was it to put the pit bull down?
It was mine. I didn't have to. They told me I had to quarantine her for 14 days, but it was horrible. Yeah. I was the one involved in the fight, but how she got her injury, she was not involved. She was hitting the dog with her purse.
Well,
so,
I mean, she either has injuries or doesn't, has had surgery or hasn't.
The insurance company had it in their fraud unit, so that tells something.
How do you know that?
Because I'm in contact with the owners of the property. We're both being sued, me and the owners of the property.
Okay. Before the attack, did you 2 get along?
Before the attack, I just been there 2 weeks, and we were starting to become friendly. The first day that I was actually there, I had a tie down out in the yard for him, and this dog, the one that remained alive after the attack, the one that did the terrible damage to his rump, stitches 3 levels deep, was done by the dog that remained alive. So there was definitely 2 dogs involved in the attack.
What about the landlord? Didn't the landlord get upset and say...
The landlord did not tell me anything. I never had a problem before this. There was people living there before that had a golden retriever. My dogs got along great with that dog.
This living situation is the pits. The testimony continues.
She would be videotaping us so my kids would wave at her because every time we stepped outside, she would be videotaping us from the window. So we would wave to her. People would come, my parents, she'd be videotaping them from the window. That's harassment.
But what made it get this bad?
She's crazy.
These neighbors were at each other's throats, so the plaintiff ran to court to get a restraining order. The defendant's pit bull attacked her dog, and it went downhill from there. Let's listen.
So this happens, and what goes wrong that you consider harassment? Tell me about the instances of harassment that ensue after this.
It was her, she would have her dog, the one that remained alive, out all the time without a leash or a muzzle, and here's the restraining order that was issued by Animal Control on that animal that said it had to be leashed and muzzled anytime it came out of the house that it had attacked.
Let me see that.
Her dog would come over and poop all over my yard where I'd have to get out of my car. Her son would yell up to the window where he could see the dog and wave at this dog because my dog could see him out the window just to get him aggravated.
But
and basically,
she would be videotaping us so my kids would wave at her because every time we stepped outside, she would be videotaping us from the window. So we would wave to her. People would come, my parents, she'd be videotaping them from the window. That's harassment.
But what made it get this bad?
She's crazy.
Okay. but okay, was it because of the attack in July that
That's
it got?
all.
That's why it got that bad afterwards?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I presume you were apologetic. She knows you put the dog down.
I felt horrible. Yeah. I mean, I offered to get her prescription for the her medication and everything, and she just went downhill from there. It just got horrible. She called the cops on me all the time.
Okay. How many times did you call the police on her?
at least 3 or 4. Well, every time she would release that dog out, which she did, she would release it out in the evening when I'd come home. I came home one night in October with somebody else driving. We came in, it was dark. She released that dog out, and he screamed at me, "Get in the car, get in the car," because she released the dog. She got angry when she was served with eviction papers by the landlord.
Oh, were you evicted?
The town was seizing the property because there's 2 houses or a barn and a house on one property. Nobody could live in the barn. So I had just moved in and the town was on me. They were seizing the property because nobody can live there. It can only be a business.
May I see the eviction papers?
I don't have the eviction papers.
Okay. Let's discuss the animal restraint order. According to what she just handed me, shall be securely muzzled when on its own property, except when confined in your residence. Can't be loose at any time on or off your property unless securely muzzled. Okay, after you were served with this, did you let the dog...
I bought a muzzle. The muzzle didn't work, so I had him on a leash.
Okay, so the answer is yes, the dog was unmuzzled, but according to you, on a leash. And I presume that the reason that you're being videotaped is because, according to you, I'm going to see videotape of the dog roaming around, neither with a leash nor with a muzzle.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Can we put that up on the screen, please?
There's the dog right there, I believe. Yep, right there. Running around.
Yep.
Leash.
Okay, but why is that okay? Why are you saying yeah? Why is that okay?
No, it's okay.
It was never enforced that I had to have the
It's
dog
okay.
on a leash.
Here,
I lived
sit.
there for all that time until I was served with
Here's
the
the animal
order.
restraint order.
Right. When I was served with that, I put my dog on a leash.
It's okay. Hey, sit.
I'm just asking whether you followed the restraining order or not. That's the basis of a
Yes, I
harassment
did.
claim. Right, except for that you're telling me, well, I had her on a leash but not a muzzle, and that's already not following it. Were these all taken on the same day?
No, they were not, Your Honor.
Did either of you ever seek the assistance of the landlord to try to figure this out?
I did speak with the landlord, and her response to me was, Melanie's dog, Melanie's problem, quote unquote. The landlord and she were not on the best of terms when she stopped paying the rent, so.
Was it non-payment of rent, or was it the rezoning? Or the zoning?
I stopped paying rent in August because they were seizing the property and I had to save money
When
to
did
get
you
a new
move out?
place. December.
December.
Yep.
So for the months of August, September, October, November, and December, how many times did you see the dog out and not muzzled?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day, yes.
And every day did you call the police or animal control to come and get the dog?
No, I did not. Animal Control told me that he wrote the restraining order, but he could not enforce it unless
go
he
to court to
actually
enforce it.
saw it.
Right.
I did take out protective orders, and basically what the judge told me was the protective orders for civil don't cover a dog being used as a weapon, basically. Even though she...
Well, I don't know if it's rational to say the dog was being used as a weapon.
I was terrified.
I think she hates you and is happy to put you in distress if that's what you're... I think that she feels like you are making her life hell, so she's returning the favor. I can also see that the dog is out a lot. Did you abide by this order, or did you let the dog out anyway?
I did. The dog was out sometimes without a muzzle or a leash. Majority of the time, the dog was on a
why
leash.
is that okay when there's been an attack already on your property? Why does she have to live terrified that if she's getting in and out of her car, I'm watching your dog on the tapes. Your dog is scary.
She began to yell, and she said to me, do your kids know how much you've been arrested? And this is none of her business.
Do you happen to have an arrest record?
I do, but
So it means that she researched.
Absolutely.
And then yells in front of your kids. Do your kids know how many times?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that happened?
Yeah, she's been, she's got 8 or 9
Ma'am,
convictions.
did you hear my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what do you do to break the tension in a neighborhood war?
Well, you just go next door and try to make peace. I think that's the best thing you can do in a situation like this.
That's not a bad answer. What do you say?
Communication is key.
Okay, but remember, you are at war, so something happened.
Smile, try to make the best of every day.
Just smile. Going inside the courtroom.
I do not want to have that dog and nothing in between me and the dog. So why is it okay for you to do that after what has happened?
no, it's not. But there's been numerous things that have happened.
Like?
Okay, well, there was many altercations that she would say stuff to my kids.
Tell me.
She began to yell, and she said to me, do your kids know how much you've been arrested? And this is none of her business.
Do you happen to have an arrest record?
I do, but that's...
So it means that she researched.
Absolutely.
And then yells in front of your kids. Do your kids know how many times? you've been
Yes.
arrested? Okay, did
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah, she's been, she's got 8 or 9
Ma'am, did
convictions.
you hear my question?
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, did you say to her in front of her children, so her 8 and 6-year-old children could hear it, do your children know how many times you've been arrested?
Her children were in the car. She was passing by. I said it to her, not
Why
to
would
the
you
children.
say it to her?
Because
Senator Desire,
because
come up with the figure 4,975.
well, actual medical charges not related to the injury that happened. That's separate. This is due to anxiety and distress, neurological workup, so on and so forth, came to about $13,000. And all this just heightened the anxiety and the distress for me.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but here's the part I don't get. If you really don't want to keep this feud going, then why do you stand in a window with the recorder, and why do you sue her after she moved out?
It was actually filed...
Because it sounds like it doesn't sound like either of you want to keep peace. It sounds like both of you hate each other and want to up it one more and one more. That's how it sounds to me. However, all I need to see is, did in fact you, in complete violation of the animal restraint order, continuously let the dog out when you knew she didn't want you to, and you keep doing it? You had the dog roaming loose every day as though this hadn't happened. And that's not okay. You don't have that right. That's worth something. Okay? I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff, not in the amount that she's asking for, but in the amount of $2,000. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
All right, so $2,000 for the plaintiff harassment. What's your reaction?
I just want her to leave me alone. That's my reaction. I don't think she deserves it, but she harassed me just as much as I harassed her. I'm just glad it's over, and I'm out of there, and...
Okay, all right. Head right down this way. Yes, right in here. Come on in.
Thank you.
What do you think about how the judge saw this verdict for you?
I think the judge did a great job understanding that when an order is issued, it needs to be complied with, and knowing the viciousness of the attack and how aggressive that dog is, I think she ruled in the proper way. When you're harassed every single day, It makes it kind of hard to live. I couldn't even come out and enjoy the summer because I was afraid she would release that dog, as she did several times, and the dog attacked. It came up and it aggressively came after us.
Take it, Harvey.
Okay, so I would just want to say something to you. If you hate somebody to the point where all you do is think about how much you hate them, you lose. So you should think about that. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case of the way into the courtroom right now.
These are the plaintiffs, Samantha Bruno and Dennis Nash. Samantha says they hired the defendant to do a house inspection on a new house they were buying. And the inept guy told them the house looked fine. He issued a report stating normal wear and tear, so they closed on the house. Well, it turns out the roof was shot and illegal, and the oil tank was rotted out and an environmental hazard. Well, it was the defendant's job to catch these things, and he didn't. So now they're suing him for $5,000, the amount it's going to cost them to fix the things he missed. This is the defendant, Richard. He says he most certainly noted the problems with the roof, the oil tank, and a laundry list of other things that were in bad shape. It's no accident he's been in business for 40 years because he knows what he's doing. And the plaintiffs are grasping at straws trying to get him to pay for their house repairs. He's accused of missing it.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Well, you seem so young to be buying your first home. Good for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Were you doing that all on your own, or who are the gentlemen behind you?
Our dads.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Were you doing that with a little help from your friends, or were you doing that on your own? Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
22.
Oh, that's really young.
Back to the People's Court next case. In the docket, the plaintiffs hired the defendant to do an inspection on the house they bought, but the roof turned out to be a total mess. The defendant says he noted the roof problem, so tough. It's the case of all about eaves.
Thank you, Douglas. Samantha Bruno and Dennis Nash.
Yes.
You are suing Richard's company, his home inspection company. You don't want your last name used nor the name of your home inspection company, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. For $5,000, you say you're out actually more than that in repairs you had to make because he didn't spot him. Tell me what, according to you. So tell me what happened.
Okay, so on August 25th, 2015, Richard came and did our home inspection when we...
How did you get his name to hire him as a home inspector?
The real estate agency. Mm-hmm. So he came and did the home inspection.
Was the realtor representing you or the seller?
Us.
Okay.
So then he said everything was okay with the house. The major problem...
I'm sorry, he said everything was okay with the house?
Mm-hmm.
I assume he issued a written report.
Yes.
Yeah, I see the report.
Yeah.
So go on.
So that was like the major things that he told like us and our parents were there
So
too.
you seem so young to be buying your first home. Good for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Were you doing that all on your own, or who are the gentlemen behind you?
Our dads.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Were you doing that with a little help from your friends, or were you doing that on your own? Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
22.
Oh, and 24. That's really young.
Yeah.
Did you get a good deal
at the time? Yeah, we did.
Okay. I mean, you had an inspection period within which you could just cancel the deal, right? That's usually how it works.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Right. So really, you have leverage during that inspection period where you can. I assume that your fathers were guiding you. It's your first husband up there.
Yeah.
Right. So you could say to them, "Well, fix this, or else I'm pulling out."
Yeah. Right.
But were other people looking at the house too?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't going to say boo. All right. So what ends up happening here?
Okay. So then we moved in on October 30th, and then we were setting up our oil company. And on the 14th, they came to do like their inspection, and for us to sign like all the paperwork. When they came, they told us that we were put on the no oil delivery list because the oil tank was rotted at the bottom. The legs were buckled.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm a Florida girl. You're talking about what?
The oil tank, like on the side of the house. Ours is outside on the side of the house.
Okay.
So he said that he had an obstructed view because there was lattice around it, and I understand he can't move it, but lattice is see-through. So when the oil people came to look...
Well, what did he say? He didn't say there's an obstructed view because there's lattice. He just said my view was obstructed.
Right. I think he said there was like minor rust observed.
Oil tank is located on the east side of the yard. Some rust was observed, unable to view the portion of the tank against the side of the house. Limited visibility due to lattice installed around the tank. No evidence of leakage. Okay.
Right. So when the oil people came to look at the tank, they said that it was leaning against the house because the legs were buckled and the whole bottom of the tank was rotted. So they actually wrote a statement saying that we weren't allowed to get on the oil delivery list. They wouldn't give us oil until we replaced the entire tank.
Can I see that?
Yeah. And then the invoice is attached to the back.
When did the inspection take place?
August 25th.
And the closing took place when?
October 30th.
Were you able to see the thing leaning against the house when you bought the house?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, so you saw that it was leaning and that didn't raise a flag to you?
I didn't know. Like, we trusted.
Okay,
We put
and
our
was
trust
it
in
leaning
him.
when you looked at it, yes or no?
No.
It was pushed up too
Yes,
close to the
it was
house?
set up right up against the house.
But upright?
Correct.
Do you have pictures?
No.
Don't you take pictures when you go through?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you have any pictures that would prove that it was leaning at the time of the inspection, which was August, September, October, November, 3 months beforehand?
No, we didn't take pictures through the inspection. I just
Nobody
have a
took
picture.
pictures. All right, so
No.
let's talk about, you had to buy a new tank, and the tank was what?
$2,100.
Wow. Okay, and then what about the, welcome to homeownership.
Yes.
Apparently you think the
Slowly
bleeding
learning.
stops when you,
Yes,
no.
yeah.
It's only just begun.
Yeah,
All right,
so,
so
yeah.
tell me about the roof, because you had a problem with the roof
Yes.
as well.
So then they came and they replaced the oil tank on like November 23rd. And then on November 27th, we went away. We had a nice vacation. We got engaged. We come home and there was a big giant hole in our dining room because there was a huge leak in the dining room.
What do you mean, a hole in the, you mean, what, you're going like this, but you mean like this?
Oh, up on the ceiling. A hole
The ceiling.
in the ceiling, yes.
Okay. And then what?
So then on January 2nd, we called a roofing company to come inspect the roof, and there was no tar paper in the back of the house where it was. There was no.
Okay.
It was just shingles on plywood, which is not. That's not up to code. It's not legal, technically, the roof, he said.
And when you say, quote, it's not legal, what are you referring to?
You have to have tar paper and ice shields on your roof.
And the tar paper is something that's underneath, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, and so how would the inspector see that there's no tar paper?
Well, I mean, even like with binoculars, the guy said that
Let's talk about that with binoculars,
Yes.
okay? Let me ask you a question. What is the point of somebody paying you $350 if you can't get on the roof and look at the roof?
Well,
because it's gotten to the point, listen to me, because I'm gonna unleash on you my wrath that has slowly built up over the 17 years I've been doing this.
I was by myself when he first got there.
Oh, you're just a little girl and you can't read?
No, but our parents got here. I didn't read this.
That's tough. You're like the person who buys a car at night and then says, but it was nighttime. Okay, that's when you chose to do things.
Inspector do his job.
If he did a thorough investigation, I would look at the whole report to see if he had done a thorough investigation.
But he didn't catch the tar paper, the lack of tar paper.
But you can miss some things.
Can you miss that?
I think that's acceptable to miss.
Because it's hidden.
Yeah, it's pretty hidden.
Okay, that's your point. Going inside the courtroom.
I believe in capitalism. I believe that what should occur is that the consumer should not tolerate it anymore. If I see somebody hand me a contract that says I'm responsible for nothing, the only thing you're consuming for is $350, which all of them do that now, so you're not going to find a home inspector who doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All right? And you signed that contract, okay?
Mine doesn't have a signature.
Oh, you didn't sign a contract with them limiting it to $350?
No.
So you have a contract with them limiting it?
Yes, I do.
Show me who signed it. Everybody, this industry now does that just like the cleaners.
Right.
It is limited to the cost of your ticket.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And that would be fine if I then also didn't read things like, I observed it with binoculars from the ground.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guy didn't hide that. He said it in the report.
Yeah.
Because the entire report is 20 pages, 19 of which are disclaimers.
Yeah.
And that's not unique to him. I'm not
Right.
saying anything. This is how this industry works at this point.
Yeah.
They say the foregoing is an opinion of the general quality and condition. The inspector cannot and does not offer an opinion or warranty as to whether the roof leaks or may be subject to future leakage. The only way to determine whether a roof is absolutely watertight is to observe it during a prolonged rainfall. Most leaks occur around flashing. If excess tar is covering the flashing, it may also be an indication of prior leakage and potential area for water entry. Did you note that? Was there excess tarring or no?
Well, like I said, when we do a home inspection, we make every effort to find every defect that we can. We put everything down in the report, everything that's visible. Of course, there are some things that are not visible. I even made a note in you know, she was talking about the heating system. I made a note the heating system wasn't even working that day. And I made a note about that.
But she's not complaining about those things. She's complaining about the roof and the oil tank.
Typically, when we're looking at the oil tank, we like to, I mean, obviously there was like this lattice fencing around it. You can't get your head underneath if there's a fencing around it.
Okay. Now, as much grief as I have given this gentleman about how, see, here's how I believe in capitalism. I do. So I don't believe that anybody has to take care of me. I have to take care of myself. If everybody believes that, we'd all do better. Okay? So if I get a contract that says, I guarantee nothing, and then I take it for what it's worth. If I get a report that says I observed it with binoculars, I'd say, wait, I think we need to take a closer look.
Right.
If I see a report that says it's partially obstructed, then I'd say, what did he lie about? What did he say that wasn't true in that report? Because that's what you're going to have to show with all the disclaimers.
Right.
Because when the man tells you, hey, I didn't get in a ladder, I saw it with binoculars from the street, and that was good enough for you then, why am I supposed to turn around and say you didn't do your job? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we did have the pre-inspection agreement that we signed, but on our part, we did not sign. So I honestly don't even remember.
Where's you said you were going to hand it to me. Did you hand it to me already?
Yeah.
Because that is where it says.
Okay, well, here's where you signed, sweetheart.
Right, but on our carbon copy.
Did you sign it or didn't you?
I mean, I signed it, but
okay, then you signed it. Then you're bound by it. What are you saying to me?
But I thought it was the termite inspection because he did the termite inspection too.
Okay, so, sweetheart, stop. You can't say this. You signed it. It's here. You can't say you don't know all these disclaimers. It's what you signed.
I was by myself when he first got there.
Oh, you're just a little girl and you can't read?
No, but our parents got here. I didn't read this.
That's tough. You're like the person who buys a car at night and then says, but it was nighttime. Okay, that's when you chose to do things. You know, this was who you hired and this is the report you accepted and you went forward and bought a house based on it. He never hid what he did. Look, I feel terrible for you. You're so cute, both of you. I can't believe you own a house at this young age. Welcome to home ownership. If you think that the home is a source of stress, wait till you have kids. Oh. Forget about it. All right, but this is how it works. And if you think you're done finding stuff wrong with it, believe me, you haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
Right.
The man has told you in each and every part, hey, I can't see this, so I don't vouch for it. Hey, I didn't get on a roof, so I don't vouch for it. You know, it's over and over. In every page it says it. Mm-hmm. So I can't find that he breached the contract based on that, and my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Well, here come the plaintiffs, the young homeowners. What do you have to say about it?
I don't know. I just feel like if you...
I feel like we were just taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Like he knew we were first-time home buyers,
Okay.
young,
So
and he really didn't do his job correctly.
Right, so you two were a little naive going into the process, and what have you learned then?
Don't trust anybody.
Never trust the home inspector.
Don't trust anybody.
Don't trust anybody.
Nope, that's it.
That's it? All right.
Yep.
Well, good luck going forward after this. And
Thank you. Thank you.
hopefully that lesson will do you some good. All right, step on in here, and what do you think about how this comes out?
Well, I gave him the fair report. Everything that I observed in the house, I put on the report.
Did you go up on the roof?
What?
Would you have gone up there if you were charged a little bit more?
No, I typically do go on roofs, but in this particular roof, due to the condition, I didn't go on.
There are roofs that are just too dangerous
Yeah,
to go
if
on?
they're too dangerous or the condition of the roof may indicate that it may do some other damage to the roof.
Did you ever fall off a roof?
I did once, my own roof.
What was that like?
It hurt.
Harvey?
Okay, a little advice. If you ever find yourself in this position where you have to hire an inspector, be there when the guy is doing the job. He will do a better job, I promise you. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Justice Queen. He says he purchased a car from the defendant, and the guy pulled a switcheroo on him. He ended up unloading a 2003 Honda Accord with over 200,000 miles on him, and the thing's a piece of junk. When he made a stink, the unruly defendant got in his face, threatened his life, and he has a police report to prove it. Bottom line, he's afraid the car is going to blow up and wants to undo their deal and get his $5,000 returned. This is the defendant, Mike Lanace. He says he sold the plaintiff a perfectly good car with 235,000 miles on it, gave him a warranty, and doesn't owe him a red cent. The man's just trying to back out of the deal by making up all these lies. The judge will surely see through him, and the plaintiff will leave here with the same thing he walked in with. Nothing. He's accused of unloading a lemon.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Ball joint.
Where?
How do you know what I'm looking at?
Where does it say ball joint?
Point out to him where it says ball joint in the middle. What's that say? Read it. What's that say? Read it.
We write that
Read
down
it.
when he told us.
No, read
That
it.
ain't what we fixed, Your Honor.
Read what you wrote.
So the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant switched cars on him, the car that he was going to buy. Gave him a 2003 Honda with 200,000 miles, but the defendant says the car was perfectly fine. It's the case of, help me, Honda.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Justice Queen?
Yes.
You are suing Quality Auto Sales and Services Incorporated, represented here by Mike Lanise?
Yes.
Okay, you're the owner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. For $5,000, you say you're out actually $8,400, exceeds the statutory maximum, for pain and suffering and the return of the money that you paid for a car that you say is a lemon. Tell me what happened.
So I went to go buy this car, this Honda Accord. When I first came to the dealership, they told me that somebody bought it up with a credit card or the phone, and I was surprised. I was like, wow. Just my luck, you know?
Yeah, somebody's in another room saying, there's a guy here about to sign a paper. You want to offer me more? And,
exactly, just my luck. So I was just patiently, they was telling me, oh, we're going to get you another car. Just give me $500.
And then you handed him the $500 as a deposit?
Deposit, yes.
Right, but
yes.
So the car comes, and then the car is not what you want because it has a lot more miles, right?
Yeah, I was nervous because I was kind of nervous because the miles was like a really lot. Like,
how many miles did the first car have?
Had 100-something.
100 and something.
I had 100-something miles, and the car that I bought was 235,000 miles. So it was
okay,
like
that's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Well, it's at least 36,000 mile difference. At least it could be a lot more than that. But so at that point, you had the option of taking your $500 back.
Yes.
Right, but you decided to go ahead and buy it.
No, I decided that I can't buy it because the miles is too high, and I don't want to take that chance. You know.
Okay.
So the salesman was calling me over my phone, trying to convince me to buy the car, telling me, oh, we're going to give you a good deal. You know, it's well worth it.
Who is the salesman?
His name is Greg.
Is he here?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, go on.
So what happened was, I gave him a down payment, $2,000 more.
So you decided to buy the car?
Yeah, I decided to buy the car.
Let me see the paperwork you signed.
They went up with the numbers.
Go on. They went up with the numbers?
They went up with the numbers. Like, I was trying to get it for like $2,500 because it had like 100,000 miles more. Like, so give me a deal.
Did you get it?
And I didn't get it for that.
Okay, so then you got your money back.
So I was like, I just want my money back. They told me I can't get my money back. I'm like, I don't even have
Who told you that?
The owner.
You told him he couldn't get his money back?
Your Honor, he bought it. He purchased the car
the
from
second
us.
car or the
no,
first?
this is the first car.
Oh, the
he
first
changed his mind. He didn't want it. He called us up.
Okay.
And we told him, said, listen, there's no problem. You could change your mind, but your deposit's non-refundable.
Okay,
it's
so
on
the
all my
deposit-
paperwork.
Okay.
I have signs in my dealership.
Show
right
me the
away.
paperwork from the first transaction from the first Honda.
I don't have it.
Why don't you?
Because that was a voided deal.
Okay.
You know, I only have paperwork with the car he took delivery of. My
So according to you, he puts a $500 on the first car, and then he decides, I don't want the first
He doesn't
car.
want the car.
And then he changes his mind and decides he does. But you've already sold it.
No, he calls up, he wants his 500 back, and we told him your deposit's non-refundable.
Okay.
You could pick out another car. So we...
Because by then you'd sold the first car?
Yeah, that car got... After he changed his mind, the next day, somebody came in and purchased it.
Okay.
So we sold that car, and we found him another car, and he purchased that car.
Okay. So now you buy the car, and what goes wrong?
This is what happened. Everything.
Okay, tell me what went wrong.
Everything wrong with the car.
You bought it on what date?
I bought it on what I believe it was the 6th.
And what did you pay for it?
March. I gave him, you got
$49.80?
You got my paper, yes.
$49.80? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you bought it on the 6th of what?
I bought it on the 6th of March.
Okay. So you pick up the car and you bring it back to be, and they give you a warranty that is as follows: 1 year, 12,000 or 12,000 miles, whichever comes first, on motor, transmission, differential, on a 50-50 basis, all work done in our shop. So that's the warranty he gives you. And so what happens?
Yeah, like before I actually purchased the car, when I gave him the 25 the first time, and then I gave him another 25, I told him that I can't afford it. I'll just give you $500 so you can have it for your time wasting if you feel like it. And he just wouldn't do it. He said, I got to buy the car.
All right, so you decide to go ahead and buy the car because you don't want to throw out good money.
Yeah.
And so you buy the car, you hope everything's going to work out well, but it doesn't.
Definitely.
On March 16th, 10 days after you pick it up, you have to bring it back because what went wrong? Is that so hard?
No, but you're accusing me of putting
No, you're accusing me of making up the word ball joint, and it didn't say it, it did.
I didn't see that.
Didn't it say it?
So would you ever buy a car with 200,000 miles?
That's a mix of who signed the warranty, the documented repair history.
Would you buy a car with 200,000 miles on it?
Depends on the cost.
Okay, would you ever buy a car with 200,000?
No, because I don't know the reliability of the car.
Okay, 200,000 miles? 200,000 miles, who hasn't spoken?
Me. No, I don't think I would, because I don't know that I would trust it.
That's your point, going inside the courtroom.
The bar joint was broken on the vehicle.
A bar joint.
It's part of the control arm on our wheel.
Okay, and so
because I had went to Sears to get an oil change, and they had told me that my ball joint was broken on my vehicle.
Okay, so they went back and they took a look at it, and what happened?
They have fixed it.
Okay, did you pay anything for it?
No, I didn't.
I never fixed a ball joint. I don't know what he's talking about.
Is this from your shop?
There's no ball joint on there.
Ball joint.
Where?
How do you know what I'm looking at?
Where does it say ball joint?
Point out to him where it says ball joint in the middle. What's that say? Read it. What's that say? Read it.
We write that down when he told us.
No, read
That
it.
ain't what we fixed, Your Honor.
Read what you wrote.
I didn't write that.
Who wrote that?
Ask him. I don't know who wrote.
Why don't I ask you? Since it's
when
your
you bring your car in,
shop.
you tell.
Are you going to yell at me?
No, you tell
Take it down like 12 notches.
Okay.
It's on your paperwork. Why?
Because he said it needed a ball joint. So
Okay.
we write it, the diagnosis
We write down
we
the
wrote it.
self-diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's why
Now
it
we
says
checked
ball
it.
joint. Is that so hard?
No, but you were accusing me of putting a ball
you're
joint.
accusing me of making up the word ball joint, and it didn't say it. It did.
I didn't see that.
Didn't it say it? It did. All right, give me
You're
that
right.
paper back.
I'm sorry.
All right, so now that happens, and then when's the next time you have to take it to them?
What happened the next month? My daughter got stuck in a seatbelt, so I was wondering what's going on, so I had to bring the car back. They had it for like 2 days, but they didn't give me the receipt. So I did some homework, and I called Honda Watertown, and they told me that there's a recall on the vehicle. So that was the reason why she got stuck in the seatbelt, because the airbags wasn't like working together.
Right, okay. So did you bring the car in to them so that they could do the recall work?
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
So
right
they
to
did-
me, right here.
No, not to you. It shouldn't
No.
bring it to you. It should bring
Yeah.
it to Honda. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So
So then what
So I'm
happened?
still waiting for the other airbag.
Okay.
Because they didn't have it at the time, so I can't really like have my children in and stuff like that. So I'm just not really
I
driving.
know you bought a car with 235,000 miles on it with a specific warranty. How am I supposed to tell him not only give the guy his money back, but pay him an additional $3,500 in pain and suffering because he ended up buying too old a car and he wasn't in for all these repairs that apparently are coming up?
Your Honor, he sold me a lemon. I think he knew that because all of this is just adding up to it.
Okay, the word lemon, I need you to understand something. You didn't buy a new car, you bought a 12-year-old Honda with 235,000 miles that's been rode hard and put away wet. Okay, you paid $4,980. I don't know why. Well, I don't know what the Blue Book value is, but I cannot imagine it was that high. What was the Blue Book value on this car?
Probably higher, Your Honor. Honda's,
You think?
Yeah, Honda's, it's a 2003.
All right, hold on one second. On a 2003 Honda Accord, in good condition, it's worth $2,900.
Yeah, but what was it worth in February, Your Honor?
Oh, so 2,000 more, I'm sure. But see, but here's the, no, don't talk. Be quiet. Look at me. Here's where the problem lies. He could charge you $10 million. This is America. There's no law against him getting more money for his merchandise. He can do it. You got to stop him from doing it. That's what we call buyer beware. You need to be an educated consumer, just like everybody else within the sound of my voice needs to be an educated consumer. There is no excuse for this when you have the internet. Do you have the internet on your telephone? It's for information.
Yeah.
So you look at the Blue Book value, you look at his seller, and you say, are you kidding me? No, I'm not going to buy that car, and, you know, whatever. And then you just let your 500 go, and then you'd have been in a much better position.
No, but I did. That's when, after, like, I gave him 2,500, and then I told him I can't buy the car.
No, that's different. You signed a contract. They're right. They're legally correct. You can't back out of it. The thing is, before you decide you're going to buy that car for that price, you should be finding out if that price is an appropriate price. You got completely overcharged, but overcharging is not a crime. It's you who signed that contract, and I have to hold you to that contract, okay? I feel bad for you. I really do, but I can't rule for you because I feel bad for you. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Well, the judge feels bad for you, but there's no way she can rule in your favor here. What have you learned here?
I learned that,
Don't go to them no more.
quality auto has no quality in them.
Well, listen, you could have done a little bit more investigation about what the value of that car was.
Yeah, but the damages to my car that they keep giving me is not adding up to the money I paid for. They're not honoring the warranty. My car's still not working. So where's the justice that I'm getting today? I don't think I'm getting that.
Well, that guy's not happy about buying that car. You know, obviously, put yourself in his shoes. Would you be happy about it?
I tried to do everything I could for that gentleman, honestly.
Well, it looks from, you're allowed to charge as much as you want for a car. You're saying you sold it at the fair market value?
believe so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really? Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, absolutely.